Er- Everything's on the cloud anymore. Holy cow. All right. One, two, three. Greetings, warriors! Today we have the cast of X Night on our show. It's fantastic. Jim Canatelli is he's the writer, director. He was in the movie, right? If you guys remember him, we had Slaughter Beach on Labor Day weekend last year, right? And he was the crazy captain fisherman and he owned the bait shop. And Jim's one hell of an actor, you know. So the movie we were going to present tonight, we actually have a double feature. It's going to be both X Night movies. The first X Night movie is a short version, right? And is from Jim. Is that pretty much what your test movie was for
Yeah,
the
so
first one?
yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
short film is only 30 minutes long and made from my own comic book series. And it was an experiment that my friend Jason Smith, who was my cinematographer, and we wanted to see what kind of limitations we had to the special effects because the superhero, he has some powers. And plus, filming fight scenes is always tricky, as Dolby will attest to, because in the feature film, he was our fight coordinator as well.
Mm-hmm.
So after doing the short film, which came out in 2019, a couple years later, we started working on the feature length film, and so I fleshed out the story, and I already had a few amount of comic book stories to flesh out the story with various villains, grown as rogues gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Big changes people will see from the short film to the feature is there's different actors playing the characters because sometimes that happens in movie making. So the my distinguished cast here, they're in the feature film X Night Escape from Warpo. Um, our original actor who played X Knight in the short film, Christopher Reinig, did a great job. And he his reason for not playing the hero in the second movie was simply he just didn't feel confident in playing the hero. There's a lot of dramatic scenes between X Knight and his wife and rekindling a relationship with his abusive mother. But we had a lot of villains in the feature. We had this pirate captain.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher was like, "Ooh, I can play that guy. I love pirates." And yeah, once we started filming with him and Dolby as X Knight, it's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is where it came. The actual vision came through. And so yeah, we had to recast some other people. Just yeah, life happens, and some people just weren't available, but those characters were crucial to the story that we were telling. So
Yeah. So tell me about your comic book. How did that? What was your inspiration for doing the comic?
So ever since I was a kid, I was really inspired by Tim Burton's like Batman movies,
Mm-hmm.
The Shadow, which is an old 1930s comic book, and Alec Baldwin made a movie. So I was really into like gothic superheroes and making cheap little movies with my camcorder and action figures. I always want to create my own gothic hero. So
Mm-hmm.
um, when I was like a senior in high school, I really started just drawing concepts of different like suits, ideas. And X Knight, I made his first comic in 2015. So this is kind
Mm.
of like the
Wow.
10th anniversary of him as I'm working on his newest comic book. And in the first comic or first few issues, his costume was a little bit different. He always had the black and white mask, the X,
Mm-hmm.
but he had like a hooded cloak originally. Then I got
Mm-hmm.
rid of that, swapped it out for just a trench coat for him to wear, and um, yeah, adding various villains over the time and giving him the tragic hero backstory of how he lost a
Mm-hmm.
loved one to a violent crime, and I will avenge thee, and all that stuff. So it's just a lot of fun to do. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons to making a comic book over a movie. For one thing, making a comic book, you can draw your characters to be anywhere. anything happening. You don't have to worry about weather conditions or anything like that. But then adapting it into a film is always the next step.
Mhm.
So, hey, there's Austin.
Hi.
Hello, Austin.
Hello. How's it going?
Good,
So
man.
far, so good.
Good. Sorry.
Yeah, he hasn't trashed you yet. No.
Oh,
This man is. So yeah, Austin and Natalie play one of the many X-Knight villains. Austin played Death Skull, and Natalie Sandone played X-Knight's mother, Monica, and Nikki plays X-Knight's deceased wife, Amy Spandoli.
Mhm.
And but yes, the comics started in 2015, and it's still an ongoing independent series, and it's been a lot of fun. And through that, I even spawned a second superhero that's in the same
Mhm.
universe. Her name is Dr. Nightmare, and she was a victim that was saved by X Knight on a couple of occasions and was inspired by him to save people in her own way. So,
Mhm. Wow. So you do the artwork and the writing for the comic?
yes, yep,
Wow.
yeah,
That's that's great.
thank you.
Because I mean, I I'm assuming because when you're doing it yourself, you have your own vision, you can get it all done. But I know, like in the regular comics, like the guy that's writing it is like in California. The guy that's doing the artwork is probably up in Vancouver. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, having it all in one house, in one head, probably makes it a whole lot better, Kind of
it
reminds
does.
me of like the Ninja Turtles when they did theirs,
Yeah,
Eastman, they did all that themselves. Back the original Ninja Turtles, where it
yeah,
wasn't pizza eating goofballs. It was serious.
yeah. The black and white
But oh yeah,
version. Was it
yeah.
Merid? Merrill?
And it was Eastman, something Eastman, I think it was called. Because they actually spawned off and oh, Spawn, that's the comic I was thinking
Yeah,
of. That you just brought that up. But then it spawned off a comic called Cerebus, right? And then that spawned off another comic, which was The Tick. If you remember The Tick, it had a Netflix series, had a Fox cartoon, right? It was actually a Fox series with Putty from Seinfeld,
oh, yeah. I have.
right? Yeah,
I
and he,
I have the DVD. He was the
yeah,
perfect
that
Jack in the
that
Box.
was that was hysterical. Oh yeah, well I mean, a guy could probably be like Einstein, but the way he acts and the way he talks comes off as like somebody got hit in the head too hard playing rugby. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about some of the other guys here. So Dolby, right? You were X Knight and you were X Knight in the feature, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So um, how was it? How was it doing that, and what was your inspiration for? Because I know he had said that you're the fight coordinator, right? So when you
Mhm.
took on this part, right? I mean, when you're having fight, basically it's like a dance with fists when you're doing the choreography for all that. Oh yeah. Hello? You're
I was just saying that
silent.
would be a great band name.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey,
He's a
what's
great
up?
guy. He's a great guy.
Good. You was he owe you money?
Good man.
So, so how did you come to get the part? What's your inspiration with the part and things like that?
Well, inspiration. I was still in the process of learning how to act, really. So my inspirations are mostly just at the time Vincent Price, how I imagined he would do something like that. Because
Hmm.
I grew up being a huge Vincent Price fan, not knowing too much about fight choreography of itself, because I am trained in martial arts, but training in martial arts is different than staging a fight. So
Hmm.
that
What's your
was
discipline?
less Muay Thai, and
What?
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
Um, so like learning that is different from learning how to choreograph anything. And I'm actually learning how to do that more properly now with some of my friends out in the Lancaster area. But um, so more often than not, it was just me, like, it was a good learning process for me to, because like I like being goofier than straight face and serious.
Hmm.
That's just kind of what my personality is. And also trying to treat it as like similar to how Vincent Price treated his movies. He always had tried to bring light to his roles, even though he would play a lot of dark stuff. So that was a big inspiration of mine.
Mm. Wow. Hey, Vincent Price, he's a legend. He's the man, the myth, the legend. And oh, just thinking it. Did you ever see Frankenstein's Castle? It's a kid show that Vincent
Oh yeah, I've
Price
seen
is
that.
on. It's
Yeah,
on
that's on YouTube.
it's on yeah, it's on Throwback TV if you ever get a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
I've
just
seen that. I love that
yeah.
show.
Oh yeah, it's hysterical. And it's just funny because Throwback TV has all these shows from like when I was in the 60s and 70s, right? And then that popped up and I'm like, what's that? And I'm watching it and I'm like, oh my God, I remember this being on back in the day. Holy cow. Back when Monster Squad came out. So, but so when you're doing the fight sequences and all that, right? And like I said, I was told it was sort of like a dance, right? Do you actually sit and with the person you're dealing with, right, and go over it like ad nausea ahead of time, or are you sort of like you guys sort of know what you're doing, right, and just go right in and
When
do
we
it?
when we did it, a lot of it was just straight up on the fly.
Hmm.
There wasn't much times we had a chance to get with each other to practice. 'Cause, like, schedules are so frantic with much more independent production. So
Okay. So basically, it was like a real martial arts fight because you guys just went in, pretty much said, "All right, let's fly over the table, and I win this one." Uh, so, Nikki, right? You played his mom or his wife? Sorry, you played his wife, correct?
Correct. Yeah, his
X
real
Knight's
quick,
deceased
wife.
wife. Yep.
real
Yeah.
quick, I have to get back in the gym. I have to get back to practice. I'll catch you guys later. All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you very, very
Thank you.
much. All right. Take care, man.
Rock on,
Rock on.
brother.
So what was it like playing his wife? I know your role was kind of limited in the full length one, right? But uh how did you get the part, and what was your inspiration when you did it?
Yeah. So Jim, just like refresh my memory, but this was I kind of like Dolby. I was definitely newer to like principal role acting. This was actually my second role, like as like one of the lead actors. I was currently
Mm.
on a TV show on Amazon Prime, and wasn't it Nate, Jim, who your friend didn't he basically mention like, oh hey, my friend, wasn't it Nate that he kind
Yeah.
of like, because you had worked with him previously and then I was working with him on the TV show. So I feel like kind of through the grapevine I heard about this audition. You had posted on like film.org or something. Is that right, Jim? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it feels like so long ago. Because now I'm working on my third film with Jim. So this was the first one I got to work with him on. But yeah, no, it's really fun. So because I was definitely like a newer actor, like newer to lead roles and principal roles, it was kind of a fun in a way, like getting my feet wet, just because, like you said, it's one of those, I mean, like two scenes, but they're flashback scenes, but they're imperative of kind of like I'm the reason X Knight does what he does and how he keeps going. So I'm kind of like the fuel to his fire and the fuel to like what he does in his present life. So it was really fun. I am cast a lot as like the girl next door, the wife, the girlfriend, kind of like that
Mm.
very sweet, genuine person. So in terms of like getting like mentally ready, like it wasn't that hard just because I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I'll
Mm.
just be me. But no, it was really cool getting to work with everyone. And like I said, just being basically truly my first like film to be a part of. It was a great experience.
Mm. Wow. Now, what was it like working with Jim?
Oh, I love it. He's so professional. Like,
All right.
what I love is,
All right.
like any
I'm
actor
gonna
knows.
I'm gonna mute his earphone. So now really tell me the story.
No, truly though, like as any actor knows, you can have two different types of directors. The one that's on the fly of just being like, hey, we're filming tomorrow, like be ready. And then Jim was one of those like truly like a week, 2 weeks in advance. He'd be like, here's your call sheet, here's what time you're due, here's what scenes we'll be doing. And like so you could actually prepare like mentally, physically, everything. So no, he truly, and I'm not just saying this, he truly is one of the best directors I've worked with because he is so organized, so on top of everything. He has the vision for what he wants to do and accomplish. So no, truly it's like one of the I'm always so excited when I get to work on one of his projects because I know I'm in for a good time. So no, I'm saying that so genuinely.
Yeah. So what's the next film? Is that the first State of Fear?
No, but that's Clock Out Films. I have nothing.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, ours is called Sin of Fear. It's on.
Sin of Fear?
Yes.
Like cinema?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And
Oh,
it's
that
like,
sounds wild.
thank you. Yeah, we did a couple episodes of Sin of Fear. It's on our YouTube channel. Think of Twilight Zone meets Tales from the Crypt. Those kind of two shows. Some episodes are horror, more mystery thriller, science fiction thriller. So the first two episodes we did, I directed and wrote one called Mystic Metronome, and our good friend Amy Lynn Reinig, who's one of the lead actresses in the X-Men movie, couldn't make it today. She wrote and directed the second episode, and it was like her directorial debut. And our friend Brandon from Jerks Productions, he's directing the third episode called Drag. And then the fourth one is with the lovely Nikki Richak called The Scraps. It's a fairy tale fantasy love story about these two misfits who wake up on this desolate beach and find each other. So each story is different, and even kind of some of them are different genres, and that was always the goal in mind. So they're little short films.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to see if I can beg you to borrow them as filler for a couple nights.
Yeah, we love that.
All right, Nikki, you got a cat on your shoulder.
She loves being the center of attention.
Uh,
This is Calypso.
uh, my dog usually pops in, but I think she's upstairs with the boys eating.
Yeah, my dog's sleeping right next to me.
He's ridiculous. Yeah. Every time, I swear she knows every time she hears like the Zoom tone because she's like, oh, great. And then she comes running. So, yeah.
So funny. We were
You'll see
filming
her a
the other
lot.
night. We were filming the other night, and the movie we had on this past Friday was Spider Baby with Lon Chaney. And we filmed at the doc's house, my partner's house. And his cat decided that wanted to be literally walking across our desk. So I'm like holding the cat, and I can still read the script in the background, right? Then all of a sudden, the cat turns around and starts flicking its tail in my face. All right, it was and I'm not a cat person, but it was hysterical. I'm like, get rid of this thing, ah! But so anyway, all right. Enough about me. All right, so Natalie, excuse me. Natalie, tell me about your part. You were mom.
Yep. And forgive
Okay.
me, my
All right.
allergies are really bad right now, so I'm sorry if I'm not crying because of anything else besides my allergies.
I got the same thing, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was super fun. I think that so I auditioned for Jim, and I was cast as the demon drug addict mom. And I think that the most exciting part of it is to play something so different than myself. I think that's always a fun challenge to like get in touch with those like dark shadow parts of yourself and like let them fly free. Yeah, it was great.
That's cool. So what other things have you been in?
I've done a lot of independent films and independent web series. I've done stage productions. One of my favorite stage productions was I played Medea, another dark mom, which is very unusual because it's not like a common thing for me. Greek theater Medea, not like the other. Yeah, I just, a lot of independent stuff, film stuff, on and off for 25 years. So.
Oh, wow. So where are you located at?
Currently I am in Santa Fe, New Mexico, but I was in Jersey right outside of Philly for 21 years in between.
Okay.
In Santa Fe.
That's what I was going to ask, because you're not, because he said you're in another time zone. I'm like, how did he hook up with you? That's
yeah,
great.
no, I just moved like 3 years ago. But yeah, so I've also done a lot of improv comedy. So I love doing a lot of things that are varying and different characters and all kinds of fun stuff along those lines.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So are you continuing your acting journey out there in New Mexico?
I'm performing improv. There's not as weird as it sounds because Netflix Studios is in Albuquerque. A lot of the
Mm,
local work is background work, so I'm not really doing a whole lot of that. I
mm,
don't
mm.
do I would prefer to do other things. I might be flying back to Jersey to do a film this summer.
Oh,
Well, Philly.
mhm.
I'm not sure yet. If Jim ever wants me to come back, I'd be happy to. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I am not in as scene here as I was in the Philly and Jersey, New York scene. And we've moved 5 times in 3 years. So it's just been a lot to try to
Mm,
I feel like once I leave Santa Fe and go wherever else I'm going, I'm going to hit it hard again. So
mm. Oh, good, good. All right. Avoid California. All I could tell you. California's getting kind of crazy. Yeah,
I know.
I have friends that just moved back to the Philadelphia area from California, and it just, $7 a gallon they were paying for gas a couple years ago
Oh
was
my
one of their big
God.
factors. They wanted to get out of town. Yeah,
Wow.
during 2020 is they get up to $7 a gallon. I was like,
Jesus.
holy cow, I'd walk. And California, right? They have hardly any transit system.
Right.
I mean, they have the
Right.
bus, but then the buses get stuck. Not like East Coast where we have
Yeah, everything.
subways and elevated
Yeah.
trains and all that.
Yeah.
But
Well, my son wants to go to college in California, so
no,
I
good
know,
luck.
I know.
Yeah, it's just gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
Hopefully things start to trickle back down. Anyway, all right.
Thank you.
Enough of the California hate. All right. So Austin, tell me your story.
Yes, sir. I played Death Skull, the villain on this movie.
Mm. Now, who did the makeup?
Uh no, this is the face I used. There was no makeup. No, we had a whole costume. There was like a mask and whole costume Jim has set up.
Hmm. Okay. So you reminded me a lot of like Red Skull
Yeah,
from Captain America. Oh,
Very-
there we go.
Yeah, it's right here. So
that's
Oh,
just slid over his
forehead.
it just slid over his face like a ski mask, and yeah, eye holes and
oh wow. Wow,
uh,
because I mean, when you were talking, it actually, for a mask like that, it actually kept up with your mouth. You know what I mean? When you're
Yeah,
talking, it actually looked like the mask was talking, as opposed to, you know what I mean?
yeah.
'Cause
No,
a lot of people when
um,
they wear masks like that, it doesn't match right
yeah.
when
That's
they
the
talk.
so shout out to them. Which I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Jim can make anything, man.
yeah. Thankfully,
So,
I bought them at a masquerade store in Philly and South Philly. So
mm, I think they used to have there used to be a there used to be a big costumer in Philly down by it was on one of the side blocks, um, where the Walnut Street Theater and all those are. I can't think of the name of the place, but they used to have the best props because after a play would leave town, they would either they rented it to them or they buy it back, right? And oh my God, I actually got a really nice Viking helmet for one time for one of the plays that was downtown. So, all right, yeah. All right, I'm going off again. I'll be cutting that out. All right. So, so Austin, what else have you been in?
well, I live in Chicago now, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and we started a web series out here in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
just like an original project. And I work on Chicago PD as a stand-in, and independent things, and trying to get out there. But
Mm-hmm.
this movie and Death Skull was definitely kind of, I think for everyone, it's kind of the start, like one of the first things that we've all done. It seems
Mm-hmm.
so. It's definitely something that that was pretty essential.
You were good. You were good and scary, and that's what you had to be.
And I wish I could do it again. We should do a Death Skull spin-off movie.
Oh,
there we
there
go.
you go. Right. I did Death Skull die?
Yeah, he's a
But
demon.
no one ever dies in comics, huh?
Yeah, and that's why we have him say to X Knight, like, evil has no expiration date, meaning like I'm a demon, I can't be killed. Ha ha. I can just be sent back to my hell, personal hell.
Wow. Yeah, it's just funny, the old joke. No one stays dead in comics except Uncle Ben. He's the only one that stays dead.
Yeah, even Bruce Wayne's parents, they brought them back in some iterations. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was in the Earth 2 series where his dad became Batman, his wife became the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, read that. Have you ever they actually have they have a cartoon. It's on Max, but they did a cartoon with that. That was just really weird and scary, because the guy that was playing Batman's father, uh, was Batman, but didn't mind killing people, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, not like all good superheroes that you have,
Yeah, I like them being a bit flawed. It makes
Mm.
them relatable, more human.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because they're people. Like Superman. Superman is no flaws, right? He's just, the Boy Scout, and then you have him teaming up with Batman so many times, right? And it's just the dynamic is insane. Both technically orphans and the lives they go through. But Ed, can you name a superhero who doesn't have a tragic backstory? Really?
It's hard to name.
Yeah.
It's part of the human condition, and humanity is, we all go through life and deal with a lot of messed up scenarios, and it's what you do afterwards. You go the dark side, or you embrace it and make something better of yourself and keep punching, as Sylvester Stallone always says as a motivational speech. Is
Man, you're getting deep on me here. This is a horror show. What, you have to go, Natalie?
I do. Thank you so much.
But
It was so good to see everyone.
yeah, and thank you for coming
Heather,
on.
thank you
Right,
for
and
having me.
if you have any independent movies you want shown on TV, let us know. We'll put it
Okay.
on.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye. Now we can talk about her. No, 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 no.
Just kidding. No, Natalie was great to work with. Everyone was great, yeah, because like on every movie, like you at least have one diva to work with. On the feature film, no one was a diva really. I mean,
Mm.
there, yeah, all the key casts were great. They showed up. They learned their lines.
They did their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And start no bullshit drama that I've dealt with on other movies, and that's just a nightmare.
Mm.
It makes making the movie not fun, and that's part of it. Is it should be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Because if it ain't fun, it's not. It's work,
Yeah.
right? And the idea is when you do something like this, especially a passion project that you have. You know what I mean? You don't need it. No one needs to deal with, you know, a schmuck. Nice word to say. Right?
Yeah.
But so guys, so you've all worked together, right? And you've done this X night. What other things are you guys going to work together and do? Jim, do you have a vision for, like I said, another X night movie, right? Something
Yeah.
you get the gang back together for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always thinking of, I'm working on the new comic now, and even since the feature film, I've had two other comics come out where he's always fighting a new villain,
Mm-hmm.
throwing the rogues gallery, so to speak. And so yeah, like the Escape from Warpel, our first feature was very like heavy on the supernatural, right? And
Yeah.
it was kind of like Batman with a bit of Spawn and Hellraiser. For
Mm-hmm.
the sequel, I thought like making it a little bit more grounded, kind of like the short film where he's basically hunting a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I figure like, yeah, let's do that, because that's the thing with X Knight is it kind of goes a little bit. Some of his villains are very supernatural, and others are more grounded
Mm-hmm.
super villains. So the sequel, I'd probably have him hunt another like serial killer, and he'd be teaming up with like this new character I have named Detective Wanda Larkin, who's like the Renee Montoya to his Batman, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. So, and I named her first name Wanda's after my late mom, Wanda Canatelli, because she was a big supporter of me she got me into comic books as a kid. So it was the tribute to her. But yeah, so Detective Larkin and X-Men be teaming up, hunting a new serial killer. And that's one idea I have toying with. But yeah, he would also fight other supernatural villains in maybe the third movie. So always want to keep his adventures going, because we've started doing. We have the film, we have the comics, and we started earlier this year doing like short audio dramas, kind of like the shadow audio dramas that we're gonna put on YouTube. So I've written a couple of scripts for those, and the audio dramas would be like 30 minutes or less. So that's some future X-Night projects horizon.
Are you going to involve these two, or?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course, yeah. Death Skull being a future audio drama, and Nikki plays the deceased wife, so there's definitely gonna be like flashback. So
excellent. I get when you put those audio dramas up, let me know, because I like to listen to, like, books on tape and all kind of. Well, listen to me, books on tape. How old am I? Audio books. Oh my goodness.
That's sorry, Rob, but I have to run myself.
Yes.
But pleasure to be on here. Nice to meet you, John.
All right, Austin, take care of yourself. And if you, like I said, if you have any independent movies you want out there promoted, let us know and we'll put them on.
Yeah, I might reach out. Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, definitely, man. And enjoy Chicago.
Yeah, now you guys can talk about me.
See you, Austin.
He was too quiet to talk about. No. Well, all right. So I'm not sucking up a ton of your guys' time, right? Where do you see now? Like I said, you're doing more comics. You're doing the audio book. Have you like pitched this to like the story to like a film studio or anything?
No, I haven't. I mean, those made very independently and self-distributed. We have both movies streaming on Tubi. And I did that through submitting it on filmhub.org, which another film friend of mine, Jason Delgado, pointed me to. He's an independent filmmaker, and he had one of his documentaries distributed that same website. So,
okay,
it's a good thing. Oh,
okay,
I think not what I said.
no, the internet went wobbly for a second. That's why I was kind of like, what's going on?
Gotcha.
But
yeah, that's how we got on Tubi, and our other feature film called Yesteryears, which Nikki is our starring leading lady in that film.
Wow.
And yeah, we'd love to show that on your show in the future, and people check it out. That is on Tubi as well. It's called Yesteryears.
Okay, what's that about? So Nikki, tell me about that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was a blast. I always say, like, I love films that, like, growing up, I always said, like, I watched TV, I watched films to kind of escape from reality. Like, it was like my way to just like escape. And I love, so that's why I like love different things with like this one. It's kind of like time travel-ish, but you also like put your own spin on it. Because the way like Jim wrote the film is at the end, you can kind of decide for yourself how you think if it was real life, if she was dreaming, if it like you kind of adapt your own like ending of what you think actually happened. But I played the lead of Cynthia. She's living her life, but she's not happy. She really wishes she could go back in time, and Jim actually plays my like current. Are we married or are we dating? I forget already.
You don't remember?
Dating.
Oh, in the movie. Never mind.
In the movie. But we're living together. We can't the rent keeps being due. We can't afford it. Like basically I'm very unhappy with my life. And I just start thinking back saying like, I really wish I could go back to high school and choose the other guy. And because look at him, he's a big time producer now. He's out in LA. He's doing amazing things. And here I am, can't even afford rent for the month. So basically, she starts like thinking. And one night there's this like red entity and there's this huge flash, and all of a sudden I'm teleported back to my high school. But then
wow.
I keep being teleported back in time until the beginning of time. And then we have Adam and Eve of, you know, there were so many amazing actors on the film, so many different huge like eras that we got to film
Wow.
in. And that just that kind of stuff, like I said, I live for that kind of thing where it really is like escaping reality and just getting to be on set and all of a sudden be back in you know, Adam and Eve times, or being back at the Salem witch trial scene. Like we did one of those scenes.
Wow.
It was, yeah, and it's already won some awards. Jim submitted it to a few film festivals, and it won some awards, which is really cool. So it's getting really good recognition.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
He
fantastic.
won the best leading actress for one.
Wow. Fantastic.
First award.
Right, so when you went back to Adam and Eve, did you go up and take the apple out of Eve's hands and go, no? This is where it all began.
Right.
So it's interesting because I kind of basically am Eve, but it does
Oh,
they
okay.
do preview the apple of the bitten apple, and then it rolls down, and yeah, that was fun. That was in the, I think it was in a cave scene in the woods in, I believe, like Philadelphia.
Mm.
And that scene was fun. Yeah. Yeah, all of us in like, I don't even know what it was.
Oh, the
But
costume.
yeah, but it was like barefoot.
Exactly
I put
what it
like
was.
coconut oil in my hair to make it look all greasy. We had an amazing artist who made us have like the block like foreheads. Oh, what else did we do? But we looked disgusting. She put the stuff in our teeth that made them yellow, and
Oh,
it
God.
was so fun though. Like I said, I love when like the costumes are like that you can just look in the mirror and be like, wow, I do not look like myself. I just love those kind of like, you know, costumes and scenes and stuff. But yeah, no, that film was a blast. That was so much fun.
Mm. Oh, wow. Definitely look forward to getting that one. All right. So, all right. Is the Adam and Eve scene, are they got their fig leaves on at least? All right. Because I mean, the show goes on broadcast, but then it also goes on streaming and Roku. So, you know, no naughty bits. No naughty bits. Yeah.
Viewable
No,
for
we were covered.
Good. All right. Good.
yeah,
Yeah.
because basically like they're cavemen, and I wanted them to look kind of like, you know, wearing like fur or something, and
Oh,
like a
like,
pump.
Like
So like,
burlap-ish. Yeah.
yeah. So like Fred and Wilma. Okay.
I mean, it's funny you say that because their costumes were literally Barney Rubble costume. I just cut the sleeves shorter and dirtied it up. So they're actually both wearing a Barney Rubble like cosplay technically.
That's hysterical. Oh my God.
One of my favorite things was walking, because we had to walk a little bit from the cars to the actual like set, like the actual cave. And just my favorite thing was walking past all these people and just seeing looks of concern on their faces. I'm like, what are you guys doing? That was probably one of my favorite parts, is just seeing everyone's reactions of just like walking by, just being like, okay, we see you, like, hey. Yeah, oh my God, I always just love, like, I'm such a people watcher. And so I was like purposely making eye contact with people and be like, what do you think of me right now? It's so fun.
That's a star. Hey, I get that look all the time, and that's just because of I look like that. I don't know. But oh man. So there's one other question, right? When you're doing independent movies, right? And it's just I've seen like since I've been doing this, it'll be a year next month, right? Um, it'll be a year in June actually. Um, like the independent movie scene, especially the Philadelphia area, is thriving. There are so many independent movies popping up. Like I said, I mean, it's you guys, right? Then the Tiny Goblin guys, right? Tiny Goblin did Porch Pirate, and I can't think of the other one they did, right? And then there's the Clockwork guys that did when you were in Slaughter Beach, right? And I mean, there's a couple other ones. Like this weekend, I didn't get a chance to go to it. Media had their film fest, and there was a horror movie in that, and it was another Philadelphia area production thing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and I know all you guys work together, right? You know, the different production companies, but what does it take once you get the movie done? How do you promote it? You know what I mean? Because you're at film fest and stuff, but it must be really hard to get it out there.
Yeah, no, it really is. That's that's a beast in and of itself as
Mm,
promoting the movie and get it out there. I mean, granted, with with social media, if you have Facebook and Instagram, that can be
mm,
a powerful tool for you to promote it out there. But that can only really do so much. If you unless you like have the right connections with people and you can get like invited on their podcasts, and be interviewed like this or interviewed by like, journalists. And yeah, that word of mouth can spread and that
mm,
can help. But definitely having like a social media platform, just like, I mean, outside of your personal one, but one tailored just for your art, your film,
mm,
books, music, comics, what have you. Because I learned that from other friends of mine, mentors, like a couple like comic book artist friends of mine, like Buzz Hassan from The Living Corpse, Josh Shockley from PLB Comics. Like, they promote their comics through their social media and also going to local conventions, stuff
mm,
like that. And you mentioned like other independent filmmakers in like the tri-state area, and like yeah, three other ones like I'm good friends with, like they're in the same boat too, and they do like local screenings of their films and
mm,
also just have like either YouTube channel and other social media platforms like Jerks Productions, Silent Shadow Productions, and
mm,
Strange Films. Or yeah, definitely to just name dropping them. Just check out their
mm,
films. They do
mm,
great work. Um, yeah, that's honestly the best answer I have for promoting your work is make a social media page and and also just networking with other artists and
mm.
people through that. And ideally, you should you help each other out. I think Jack Lemmon, the great Jack Lemmon, said like when you reach the top floor, make sure you send the elevator back down.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I mean, seriously, because one of the my dad, my father was a bill collector, right? And I grew up in a place called Darby, which was not the what is not the richest area in the world, right? And growing up with your dad, who's a bill collector, who's pretty much collecting off the people in your neighborhood because they didn't pay their for their cars and things like that. And it's hard, man. So like I can understand, just because my dad just trying to get um you know, with his company, trying to get his company promoted when he was doing the collections and things like that. I mean, it's just hard. It's not easy to get your name out there, So yeah, whatever you guys ever need, you can let me know, like and I will help promote you guys always, always. I mean, we recently hooked up with independent company in um Edmonton. It's called Higher Universe, right? And they're just like you guys, right? They have a bunch of independent movies they're putting together, and they're putting it together, and they're just throwing it out to the ether like you guys are, hoping somebody picks it up. And there's another company, Moonlight Films, and they're out of Indiana, and they have a ton of independent movies, and the one group that with I can't with the guys from Indiana. There's like another offshoot, right? They have so many movies that they've done, right, that they're actually backlogging and trying to space putting them out, because they did like they were had once they got the COVID, they didn't do anything. Then they did a huge catch up, right? And I think it was like 30 films in 5 years. So now they're like they got them all, and now they're trying to like put them out, every quarter or something just to get it out there so they don't, run over each other kind of thing. But yeah, I just feel bad because, I mean, when you have guys with talent like it's like you two, right? It just getting yourself out there is so tough anymore. But
It
all
is.
right. So I sucked up an hour of your time. You have no idea how much I appreciate this, guys.
Uh,
Um,
you know
so
how much we appreciate it.
but Jim, I'm telling you, Jim, you have been a class act every time I've seen you. I appreciate it, right? And the fact that like when I asked you at the Delco Horror Haven thing in September, right? If I could put you on, and you were like, yes. It wasn't like, well, I don't know. You jumped right on it, and I appreciate that because there's been some groups we've asked, and they kind of like were like, no. And I'm like, all right, and then hopefully they can get their stuff out, on Tubi and all that. But it's just it's hard. It's hard on our end to get movies, and I'm glad that I got a friend like you that's doing movies, right? And will pass it on to us, and I appreciate that very, very much. And Nikki, you're very lucky because he's a hell of a guy to work for. He's just the few 4 or 5 times that I've met him, nicest guy in the world. Wish I had a sister that wasn't married for him, but
No, I
appreciate
agree
it.
though, 100%.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very, very much. And what I'll do is when I edit this, right, I'll send it back to you just to check it out, right? And then we're gonna show it when you're on. I think we're gonna probably like have 20 minutes. So I'll probably like clip different pieces in it throughout the show. You know what I mean? That way I get a lot of what you guys are saying on there, right? And because we figure what X Night Warp is what 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, and the new one's 60, right? So that takes us that we're still below, yeah, so we're still below 2 hours. We'll be good. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very, very much. And I look forward to seeing you again. Nikki, I look forward to seeing you in whatever movies you're going to be coming on. Keep me in mind, right? You'll never
Sure.
forget this face, right? And let us know and we will help you guys out the best we can.
Yeah, we can definitely show yesteryears and our Cinephere episodes.
Oh, cool.
Great,
Cool.
yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Now I'm going to do my homework and go watch them tonight.
Right. Yeah, yesteryears is a fun one. It's basically, as Nikki said, it's a time travel movie. We did was a little different. It was just like it occurred to me, it's like, well, in most time travel movies, the lead character like builds something to send them back, whereas
Mhm.
her character doesn't build anything. She's sent back by this mysterious force and can't control it. So felt like
Wow.
a fun thing to do. Plus the time periods.
Mm. Hey, but that sounds really cool though. You know what I mean? So what is it? So you have what? You must have a medieval one time period you go back to.
Actually, we
No?
didn't have that one.
Okay.
We missed one. Yeah,
All right.
she goes back to the 1960s and
Mm.
escapes the Manson family.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm interested already.
hell
Ooh,
yeah.
that was fun. And you're gonna see Dolby who played X Knight, but he plays Charlie Manson in
Oh, really?
Yesteryears. Yeah.
Wow.
He was
He actually
creepy.
has
Like
that look.
he was so good in that role. Like, yeah, he played creepy really well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to that. That seems really good. Oh man.
Well, yeah, we don't want to spoil the rest, but yeah, that's still
No. So yeah, it's a good one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go up, have myself a cheesesteak, and I'm gonna pop that movie in and watch it. I'm looking forward to it. But
hell yeah.
all right, guys, thank you very much. Wish you guys the best and success. And Jim, before you go, Jim, do me a favor, right? And Nikki, can you just say hi, like Jim, hi, Jim Canatelli of X Night, watch Cemetery Cinema.
Sure.
Okay, and then Nikki, when you do too. Come on, go.
Hi, I'm Jim Canatelli of X Night Productions, and you're watching Cemetery Cinema. Woo!
Perfect. All right, Nikki, come on.
Should I introduce my character?
Yeah.
Or should I just say, okay. Hi, my name is Nikki Richak, and I play Amy in X Night Films. And you are watching, oh my goodness, what is it?
Cemetery Cinema.
Okay. And you are watching Cemetery Cinema.
Cool. All right. And Jim, just say happy because our anniversary is coming up. Happy anniversary, Cemetery Cinema. Something like that.
All right. Happy anniversary to Cemetery Cinema.
Perfect. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much. All right. And I appreciate this like you don't know, man. This is really cool. This was a good hour. I
This is
appreciate it.
fun. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Take care. All right. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah, man.
that-
It's actually first time I've interviewed more than one person at a time.
Oh,
So,
wow.
kind
You're a
of
pro,
like looking, trying to involve everybody.
right?
All right. Take care, buddy.
You too, John.
All right. Bye.